Welcome, everyone, to Prop It Up. We are here to go over the latest and greatest things going on in the prop world. Got a loaded slate of Major League Baseball games. And, of course, we have the NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs. Tons of props and lots of opportunities to make some money. And, of course, I can't do this by myself. I need my fellow prop masters, Andrew McInnis and Matt Joseph. We're going to break down all the best things that we're seeing, what's working for us, what's not working for us. So let's bring those guys in. We're going to start off with Matt. We're going to talk a little Major League Baseball. We'll do some NHL with Andrew. I'll go over some NBA. And stay tuned. At the end, we will all give out our single best bets, and we're covering all three sports with those. So should be a jam-packed show. Matt, let's just jump right into it. Major League Baseball, you talked about first three innings, and I cannot wait to revisit this. How is the first three innings going for you, or have you abandoned that?
Well, I have not abandoned it yet. It's just it's one of these things where you've opened up a new market, and so you're kind of tinkering around a little bit to see what works and what doesn't. We've talked about, I think last week we talked about, for the most part, there's 2.5s when it comes to the three innings. But now I'm starting to see some 3.5s, and yesterday I saw my first 1.5s for the games with the pitchers duels, and so you kind of have to figure out what you're more comfortable with. And for the first time, I played a 3 when I should have played a 5. Going back to, I think it was Sunday's Phillies game, the Phillies scored 4 runs in the first inning, killing the 3-inning bet, but they didn't score the rest of the time, and so the 5-inning bet would have won. So it's kind of just tinkering a little bit and trying to figure out what works with regards to the 3 and the 5. That's why you take a look at a pitcher and how well they do the first time through the order, how well they do the second time through the order. And it's just, there's so many markets and so many angles in Major League Baseball, and it's you're opening Pandora's box here by taking a look at all of them, because now you're doing it on a day-to-day basis. The K props have been really good, swept the board yesterday. There were 3 that I looked at today that I really was close to playing, but I didn't actually make them official plays. I posted them on my Twitter account at MidMajorMatt if you want to play them. I didn't do it officially. It's Civale, it's Velasquez, and it's Gausman's over. There was just some things that worried me about each of those situations, so I decided to be cautious after yesterday's 3-0. But Andy, there's just so many markets and so many ways to wager on Major League Baseball nowadays that if you don't want to bet the 9, and there continues to be reasons not to take full game unders with all these extra innings and going the way they are, that you can find an angle to almost anything when it comes to Major League Baseball.
Well, talk to me a little bit about the 3 pitchers that you mentioned with strikeout props. Walk me through your process. What did you like about it, and then what was kind of steering you off that made you a little bit cautious of those? Take us through the thought process and some of the stats that you were seeing.
All right, so Aaron Civale's strikeout prop is 5.5. When it opened, it was at plus money on the over, which was very tantalizing. Now that the pluses are gone across the board, and when you look at Civale, the Tigers have a 27.3% K rate against righties and a 26% K rate this month. That's 2 of the things I look at. You look at some of the earlier meetings. Civale had 6 back on April 4th. He had 6 on the next start at home. So he's gone over this number twice against the Tigers, and there's a pitcher-friendly umpire. But to me, when I look at this market and I see them opening up at plus money, it's almost like they're inviting it for some reason. Now it's a road game. The Tigers strike out a lot as a team, but it's just something to me didn't sit right. I feel like when you're looking at, the Tigers, the Rays versus lefties, the Mariners, the Phillies as of late, you're going to see inflated numbers. So something about that just didn't seem right. The pluses are all gone. If you could find a plus, I would consider it because of the price. Gausman is at 6.5. The Diamondbacks at times at home are really good. That ballpark is conducive to a lot of hitting. The Diamondbacks actually don't strike out as much as you think. 23.6% against righties, 25% this month. And Gausman's gone over this number. So once again, it seemed to me, here's a guy that goes over this number rather easily. It is a tough road game against a Diamondbacks team that's not hitting right now. But to me, it was a little bit worrisome because 6.5 is starting to push it. And then Velasquez, it's kind of a personal thing. As a Phillies fan, I've seen Velasquez. He's pitched really well as of late, but he's so close to a blow up. Last year, he struggled twice against the Marlins in Miami. And so to me, it's more of a personal fan thing that, I'm protecting myself against a Velasquez blow up, and he only goes 3 innings, has 3 strikeouts. He could very easily do this. The Marlins have struck out 28% of the time this month, but it's maybe almost too much information, and having watched this pitcher too much to say, I'm going to be a little cautious here and hope that he blows up and that it doesn't hit instead.
Yeah, it's interesting you were bringing up the Rays. I was looking at Brad Keller over 4.5 strikeouts against them. Just the Rays strike out a ton, leading the major leagues in strikeouts. And then I look and I see the last time he pitched against Tampa, he got absolutely blown off the field in like one inning. So that was one of those things about, yeah, on the paper it might look good, but dig a little bit deeper into the stats and you find something. No, Flaherty's going today for the Cardinals. He's a very popular pitcher to bet on. Anything in the Cardinals White Sox game that jumps off the page. I know that's a pretty polarizing game for bettors.
Yeah, Flaherty's a guy that it feels like they're getting him right, pretty much, the market. Like, there's some guys that they just haven't figured out quite yet. They're starting to figure out, of course, the guys that are the lefties against the Rays and the Tigers, and they're inflating those numbers, and they're still getting hit. But there's a guy, Flaherty's a guy that the last couple of starts, he's had 5 times this season. Of course, the number is 6.5. There's not a lot of history between him and the White Sox, so that kind of benefits Flaherty. First time through the order, 169 batting average. Second time through the order, 188 batting average. And then you look, the White Sox are only striking out 23.3% of the time against right-handers. That is 19th in Major League Baseball. So to me, especially it's a road game, there's no pitchers involved, so there's no free strikeouts. And if the White Sox do eventually figure things out offensively, it's one I looked at, but I haven't quite figured out yet, and the books haven't quite figured out yet Flaherty, so I stayed away from him.
Great stuff. That's why he's one of the best ever at Major League props. Andrew, let's go to NHL props. I've been having a really, really good playoff season with some of these props. I know you have too. So, what's been working for you? I know you've been hitting some really good underdogs on some of these goal props. I've been doing shots on goal. So, talk about NHL, what you're seeing in the playoffs.
Well, first of all, hats off to you, Andy. I mean, you've been crushing it consistently. It's not just a short run with you with these NHL props. You have been crushing it pretty much since you started. So hats off to you for the NHL success with the props. And, I think, Andy, it sounds so cliche. It kind of pains me to say this, honestly, but it's really been kind of just like educating myself each night. They started a new segment on WagerTalk today called "What Did We Learn?" or "What Did I Learn?" And that's kind of what it feels like for me in the prop market every night in the NHL. What did I learn? Who's getting all the shots? Who's getting the most power play time? What are the secondary guys I should be taking a little bit of a long shot with to score a goal at plus 300? And I think especially in the playoffs now, some of these stats aren't going to tell you the full story. You got to be watching the games and looking to see what type of series it is. If it's a really aggressive series, if it's a series that's low scoring, I actually will be looking for more so of an underdog to score, like a plus 200, plus 300. And some people might get that twisted and think, well, if it's only going to be 1 or 2 goals, why wouldn't that be from a star player? And I think that in games that are so tight, that's when you're going to see, someone a little bit more random score that goal. As far as the shots on goal props go, I'm not sure if you've been right in the same boat as me, but I'm sure you've been somewhere near that boat because you've had a lot of success. We've had moments to find, the third line center, the second line center, or the guy on the power play number 2. But when it comes down to it, my best bet last night, 4% play, was Connor McDavid over his shots. Tonight I'm looking at some stellar players over on their shot props. There comes a time in the playoffs where this guy could have 0 shots heading into the third period. If his team is down 1 goal or 2 goals, we're going to see an abundance of shots, and they'll probably catch that in 10 minutes. So I think that managing the series, is it game 1? Is it game 4? Is it a 0-0 clean slate, or is it an elimination game? And I think that that's, with one prop I'm looking at here for tonight, on Andrei Svechnikov for the Carolina Hurricanes, over 2.5. It's ridiculous. The guy had 6 shots in one of the games so far in this series. He had 8 in the other games. Coming off, a game with 6, like I said, he's someone that will be relied on. And I think the Hurricanes have to get back into being a little bit more, I guess I should say simple, and not trying to complicate things too much. They pass the puck very, very well, but it does not mean that it always translates into goals. And I feel like the message will be to get shots on the net and try and maintain possession a lot more. It's actually ridiculous. I mean, we have seen this guy hit 4-4, 8, 6-6. This series has 4 games so far, and he's hit 6 twice and 8 shots once. And the time he lost, it was 1. Give me Andrei Svechnikov over 2.5 shots at a -140 price. Very reasonable price there for a 2.5 bet.
Well, the hardest part about that play was pronouncing his name, and you did it beautifully. So I don't want to tip my hand as to what's been the bread and butter of my NHL shots on goal props, but let's just say it's been lonely the last couple nights without Bergeron and Pasternak not playing. Those guys are just machines. One of the games I'm going to love watching is that Toronto game. Just the centers for the Leafs just fire the puck at will. Unfortunately, I was on Nylander last night on his shots, and between him and the other 2 centers, they had 13 shots. And unfortunately, Nylander came in under. But I'm coming right back on his over. He had 4 the 2 games before just because he missed it last night. He had a couple that just missed the goal. He had a couple blocked by defensemen. And, you just watch, you see where those shots are coming from. It's from those centers. And, like you said, game script is a lot. Once they were up, you could tell by the last 10 minutes they were not shooting the puck. They were just kind of playing dump and chase, and so I knew that bet was kind of coming to an end, but I'm not going to be scared to go away from it.
Well, he's a big key for the team, Andy, because everyone's looking at Marner and Matthews. And he's that secondary guy that's like, hey, don't forget about me. And I think that's why he's playing so well.
Yeah, and you bring up the big names, and maybe maybe you don't overthink and just go back to Marner and Matthews again, because I mean they were out there and just firing away at it. So it's been a really good NHL playoff run. I'm gonna go over some things I'm seeing in the NBA. Game script, it's unbelievable how much it affects it. We had the Heat and Bucks, and in a complete blowout, everybody sat and everybody's point total went under. I felt so bad for anybody that had any type of over in that game. We're still early in some of these series, and the books have not adjusted to some of these. So dig deep and look around. For example, I saw one book still has Luka Doncic on his 3-point shots over under 2.5. He shot 11 of them last game and hit 5 of them. So if they keep hanging that 2.5 3-pointers made for Luka Doncic, you got to take that one, especially if they have Pat Beverly on him. I think Kawhi's probably going to, you know what I'm talking about. Surely Kawhi has to get involved with guarding Luka. He has to at some point. A couple other things.
That's called a mouse in the house. Pat Beverly against Luka is a mouse in the house. That's what we call that.
So good. Playoff P is back going under his point total. Congratulations to Playoff P. I forgot how much I enjoyed seeing him go under his total. Celtics and Nets are polarizing game for me tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of points in that game. And I've talked about this. I love Kyrie Irving going over his point total against the Celtics. Without Jaylen Brown, they're missing that third defender. So you're going to have Tatum on Durant, and then Marcus Smart is going to have to guard one of them, and it's probably going to be Harden, because you got to try and guard Harden and disrupt the offense, and that leaves absolutely nobody to guard Kyrie. He was really efficient, had 29 points, and they were easy 29 points. And that was a low-scoring game last time. I think tonight there's going to be a lot more points. Again, books still have this number at 24.5. I'll take that all day long on Kyrie to torch his other team. So that's some action the other night. And then I'm not deterred at all by what happened in the Knicks-Hawks game with Julius Randle. I will tell you guys now, I'm already going to come back and take him over his points total. He had a terrible first game. The Hawks don't have anybody to guard him. He just had a bad shooting night. And this kind of goes back to one of those things. If we like a trend and it loses once, you don't abandon it completely. It's not going to go undefeated for the entire series. One of them is probably going to go under. What you need is it to go, 4-2 or 5-1. So don't be scared about, losing one play. And I'm not going to jump off the Julius Randle bandwagon. So, and then finally in the Grizzlies Jazz series, Donovan Mitchell is out. Look at John Morant. He can get to the hole at will. against the Utah Jazz without Donovan Mitchell. So keep an eye on that whole situation. So, all right, we all have some really cool stuff going on. So, Andrew, in the zone on 5% bets, tell us about what you have going on tonight.
Yeah, I promise this isn't a planned occurrence that these just keep coming on Tuesdays, but I'm happy to come on here and promote them, obviously. But it seems like I've had a 5% MLB the past few Tuesdays. But yeah, I'm looking to make it 8 straight 5% winners to start the season off in the MLB. And it's been a really good run since about the middle of April. I really wish, guys, I could just take away the first 2 weeks of the season. Like, I wish I could just take all those picks and throw out that data and then just, start my record from the second week of April, because ever since then, it's been really, really strong. I've been kind of living in the town of Splitsville over the past couple of days, but looking to get back on track with my 5% play tonight. And the run is 43-20, last 63. And like I said, looking to make it 8 straight 5% winners tonight. So that's what I have up. Clients are in action in the NBA, though, very low volume. In the NBA playoffs, and of course, a handful of NHL plays and player props.
Great stuff. Good luck on that. 8 in a row would be absolutely amazing. So fun. So fun to watch the run that you're on. Matt, we got a promo code for you, Matt399, and that gets you $200 off in college football. You are already looking ahead to college football. Kudos to you for jumping out ahead of everybody. So talk to us about college football and what you got coming up on that.
Yeah, DraftKings released their win totals yesterday for every team in America. So I know what I'll be working on the next couple of weeks, couple of months as we get. It's under 100 days from college football, and then the fine folks at Sports Memo gave you the code that Andy just said, Matt399, which is $200 off the season. Last year, I was 62.4% in college football. It was number 1 in Sports Memo. I'm assuming it was pretty close to number 1 on WagerTalk as well. And look, if you know that if you get my plays, you're going to get team totals, and you're going to get first half plays, first quarter plays, things like that. You're going to get angles that you never thought to ever play. FCS games, we're going to be back to the FCS, FBS games as we were last year. So if you want to jump in early on a profitable season, hopefully in college football, Matt399 takes $200 off my whole season. And hopefully, I mean, look, 62% is really good. We want to do that again. But if you get in early, you'll be able to do a lot of savings for the college football season coming up.
I would say 62% is not only good at Sports Memo and WagerTalk, but anywhere. That has got to be tops just about anywhere, man. Congratulations on that. Once again, that's the promo code Matt399. Myself, I have a 5% NBA player prop up tonight. My first playoff 5% NBA player prop. I have not had a 5% NBA play since April, and I hit that one. So I'm 100% in my last 5% plays over the last 7 weeks, right, guys? Right? 100%.
All about the percentages. All about the percentages.
And then my quest for winning 200 units in golf is doing good. I was plus 7.9 units at the PGA Championship. That brings my total to 105 units up for the 2021 golf season. I'm going for 200 units. I think I can get there. It's gonna take some pretty big weeks, but that golf package is up along with the 5%. So that's mainly what we're working on here. So, and it's time for best bets. Let's give out some of our favorite plays for tonight. I will go first, and I will tackle a prop that to me is pretty easy. This is in the NBA. Chris Paul under 13.5 points. Not too much analysis here. I think he's hurt pretty bad. He looked really, really rough off that shoulder. I guess it's a shoulder injury. He was struggling with his right hand. He was struggling to pass the ball, and he only had, I believe, 7 points in that game, 3 of 8 from the field. So Devin Booker could do whatever he wanted against the Lakers, and Ayton was good inside. And if Chris Paul's right shoulder is as bad as I think it is, I can't see a lot of shots from him. 3-point shots are going to be really hard, and just trying to get around the edge and then try and battle with the bigs inside to get layups. I just think points are going to be really, really tough if he's that hurt, and 13.5 is a lot. So give me Chris Paul under his point total. Andrew, let's go to you for your best bet.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the exact same bet that I gave out on Puck Time, and it's because I want every single person to be on it. This is Cole Caulfield over 2.5 shots at like plus 110, plus 100. Whatever price you can get, it's not what it should be. This should be at 3, I believe, or at least at that number. I think that the books don't understand the difference from one game to the next, the level of ice time, the amount, of time a certain player will be out there, who they'll be out there with. And I can't even tell you who Cole is going to be playing with, Andy, because that's how many different players and combos he'll be out there with tonight. This series, everybody out there knows I'm a Canadiens fan. And so it's been very difficult for me giving out picks because all I hear is slander. But I've actually been very profitable on this series so far. And when it comes down to it, this is only game 4, but when you look at it, it's desperation. I mean, Montreal does not want to go down 3-1 in the series. They waited until last game to insert Cole Caulfield into the lineup. And when he gets the puck, the message is very clear to shoot, to make something happen. The Canadiens have the best goaltender in the world, probably next to Vasilevsky and Marc-Andre Fleury. But, he can't win them games. He can't score the goals. They need someone to score. And the message will be to shoot the puck. And I believe over 2.5 for Cole Caulfield, he'll reach that before the third period even starts.
Love it. And on a back-to-back, I love the spot that he's in to get all those shots. Matt, what do you like in MLB? I will say I was fingers crossed you were going to give us a first 3-inning play. And dang it, I didn't have to say anything and you came through. Who do you like?
By the way, Carey Price could, if he was a really good goaltender, score his own. I mean, he could shoot himself. I mean, let's just be honest.
I think he has one career goal, Matt.
Ron Hextall did score a goal, I believe, in the playoffs. I'm just saying. So for those who are not familiar, there are a couple books out there who do the 3 innings. There's also 5 innings and 7 innings, but this is a 3-inning bet, and I'm looking at the under 2.5 for the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Kevin Gossman's been amazing. 1.66 ERA in 9 starts so far this season. The first time through the order, which is what we're ideally going to get here, batters have a 0.82 batting average. Last year, he faced Arizona, held them to 1 run and 2 hits in 6 innings. Arizona has scored 3 runs or less in 10 of their last 12 games, so they're absolutely miserable offensively. And on the other side, you've got a rookie here, not a rookie, a guy who hasn't pitched very much. He hasn't pitched since 2019. Caleb Martin was all right against the Dodgers. That first time through the order, he did pretty well. It was the second time that kind of got him a little bit. He had a little bit of a walk issue, but not a single Giants hitter has seen him before. San Francisco's lineup is very hit or miss. They're very good at times. They're very bad at times. So I'm going to take a shot that this guy that San Francisco hasn't seen before befuddles them the first way through. Gausman does his job, and we'll go under 2.5 runs in the first 3 innings for San Francisco and Arizona.
Oh, great play. I love that angle of the pitcher that the batters haven't seen going through the first time. That's a really, really good angle. Nice work on that one, Matt. So just a quick recap on our best bets. Got all sports covered here. I like Chris Paul under 13.5 points. Andrew likes Cole Caulfield over 2.5 shots. And he's calling it before the third period starts. So that's how confident he is in that one. And Matt loves the Giants and the Diamondbacks under 2.5 runs in the first 3 innings. So let's cash all of those. Good luck to all of us. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Andrew's got his 5% bet going. Matt, use the promo code MATT3990 to get $200 off his college football season. I've got a 5% NBA player prop up tonight. Thanks so much, guys. We will see you guys next Tuesday for another edition of Prop It Up. Good luck. Let's cash all those tickets.